edition, of course, of the one, the only, Oh No Wrestling podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, and I guess all around, party commander is what I'm going to go with tonight. I'm the Sharp Break Kid. My name is Owen, and along with me is the King of Bong Style, Duncan. Hello, Duncan.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself, bro.
Damn it.
Almost smooth.
No, that's as smooth as I'm capable of.
And of
because
course,
I'm the king of bong style.
the King of Bong Style, and of course, our good friend all the way from Denver, Colorado. It's Matthew, the Clint Bobski himself.
Bringing the charisma and the biscuit party.
That's it. Biscuit party. I was just remarking on the fact that I didn't know there were two biscuit party hats.
Yep.
I wonder if there's more.
There might be.
There are more because these ones, so these black ones came in the first 5 rows, or was it 10 rows for All In Chicago. If you were in the first 5 or 10 rows, something like that, it was in your seat. And then they gave them to people at Double or Nothing, the first Double or Nothing, which we were all at a year ago. And I think it was if you purchased something.
Yeah, it was.
You had to purchase something and they gave it to you.
Yeah, it was a merch-related thing, wasn't it? It was
because I remember we asked for 2. Remember, Owen? You and I were together, and we were like, "Can we get 2?" Like we made one purchase, but it was like a bulk purchase.
Yeah.
And then the girl was really nice, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it."
Yeah, she was really cool because she could see that we were like both throwing money in together, and although we were ringing it up on one, credit card or whatever we were doing, it all it worked out. But
yeah.
she gave us a hat.
I remember we saw the biscuit party hats in Chicago at All In, and I was just like, I really want one of those. And then we got to our seat, and I was just like, oh my God, there's one right here.
And what's so cool is that nobody was taking them from other people's seats. They
right.
That was super cool.
Some actual honest fans out there,
God forbid.
Few and far between. Especially, we might as well just hop right into it. Very dark day to be doing a show. And it's a rough time right now, in this country. And I suppose in a sense we're not going by the norms, and a lot of people have paused operations and stopped broadcasting today. But in my mind, I want to get out there and talk wrestling as a distraction to some of this. And that's in no way trying to demean any of the protests that are going on. We stand by George Floyd over here. I'm not going to try and trivialize it by pretending that I understand everything that is going on with this. But we are going to do a show for you, and hopefully you're going to enjoy it. And it's been really interesting to see how certain people, even in the wrestling community, have been handling this situation, especially on Twitter. And just all across the internet, especially with a couple of major tweets. Duncan, you want to handle the first one? Pick one.
Pick one. Pick one.
Pick one.
Man, I don't know. I think my favorite, we'll talk about second. First, let's talk about this dipshit. From I guess it is. I didn't realize that they had been called up to the main roster.
Oh, the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah, the Forgotten Sons. So look, believe what you want to believe, support what you want to support. Know when the moment is not appropriate. Kind of read the room. Everybody's
or the fucking world.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. We're all sort of anti-police brutality right now, not really looking for a police state to take over the entire country. And we'd also
I would go as far as to say not just right now, but ever for me.
Ever.
Yeah.
For me. And also, I would like to see black people stop being murdered disproportionately by the police. That's all I want to say.
No, that's accurate.
But Jackson Riker, who, as far as I knew, was still an NXT superstar. Apparently, the Forgotten Sons got called up.
Yeah.
Shows how much I know.
It's because we're also not watching much main roster product at all, much WWE for that matter, just because it's there. We find it quite hard. I think all three of us find it quite hard to watch.
Can I tell you something? And not to break away from this, I watched all of SmackDown over the weekend.
No kidding. Live?
I did. I didn't watch it live. I did like fast forward through like here and there. It was like, you know, like on Hulu is like fast forward, and I have the one that doesn't have the commercials, you know, so it's like
sure.
Yeah, but I would see something and I was like, oh, this is okay. Now they're just replaying this whole Jeff Hardy thing from the beginning, you know. They're making it look like clips, but it's actually they're showing basically everything all over again. So I fast forward, then I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm a minute and a half into the next thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like I kind of see what's happening. Yeah. But we can get to that after we go through all this because this is really important. I would say, I mean, I have it here. I don't think that I even should I even read it. I don't even know if I want to like read it.
You know what? Actually, no, don't, because if you're listening to this, you know what he said.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like two things, right? Because like basically there was an old Facebook post from 2019 that people found and someone screenshotted and put on Twitter.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I didn't know about
an hour ago.
I didn't know. I still don't know about that one. Can you enlighten me to that one?
Yeah. So here, I'll actually, I am just going to read it just because it is poignant. You need to hear the shit that like people are fucking spewing, I think. And then we can read also. I do have a lot of the wrestlers responding to this, which is really funny. So the post from July 2019 reads, and I quote, "Pretty touchy subject, but all this Black Lives Matter garbage baffles me. I challenge anyone of any color or race to go watch 12 Years a Slave, the movie, and realize how good you actually have it. Learn heritage. Christ, Gandhi, Buddha, they all taught love and caring for others. This is getting out of hand. I pray for this nation daily."
Oh.
One wasn't
good. There's a lot going on in that
to say that.
There's a lot going on in that tweet.
Also, Gandhi was kind of an asshole.
I don't want to get into this. That's not what the that's not what this show is for.
But no, for real. Like, okay, so that, and then the tweet yesterday.
Then the tweet about 22 hours ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Thankful for the @POTUS. We have this is on Twitter. God bless America, built on freedom, built of freedom, forgotten no more.
And if you if you don't know, forgotten no more is their catchphrase. With the Forgotten Sons.
They're definitely trying to make it their catchphrase. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yes.
But that was also like right after, hey, let's send the military into the states, whether you want it or not, kind of thing.
Sure.
So, like, also poor timing.
Very poor timing for this tweet.
Horrible timing.
And he knows what he's doing too.
I think he tripled down on a double down from KFC, and he's gonna have a heart attack.
He Smilletted it.
Yeah.
He went full Smollett.
He definitely jabroned himself on this one.
Yes, he did. Because the response, of course, has been amazing.
Amazing. And I would say Kevin Owens is one of the best responses on Twitter. We all know he's good for a good beef every now and then. I remember him with Randy Orton and stuff like that back in the day. So he posted, "The freedom you speak of entitles you to speak your mind all you want. I'm not here to argue that. I just really need to tell you that I think you pushing your shitty wrestling catchphrases as all of this is happening is absolutely fucking pathetic."
Fucking nailed it. I love that dude. I mean, it's such classic Kevin Owens. He's got, but he's not fucking around. It's also not, it's not joking Kevin Owens either, like, no.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, this is the real KO. Like, no, you're being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Well, and there's been a lot of other people that have come at him too.
Yeah, there's so we got Mustafa Ali said, "I'm thankful you posted this because I'm now aware of what you stand for. When Black brothers and sisters are crying, you praise someone that refuses to acknowledge their hurt." So basically, Dave Bautista said, I'm keeping him nameless because he's a sorry ass motherfucker who I refuse to let ride my coattails. He gets no love from me. He gets no rub from me. And if he would like to discuss it in person, we have enough mutual acquaintances that he'll be able to find me. And then someone said, Mr. Nash, Mr. David, sirs, if it behooves you, gentlemen. And then Dave Bautista responded, I'll pass. I don't let ignorant motherfuckers get in my pocket.
Damn, that's great.
So,
Dave Bautista is such a savage on Twitter, by the way. It's one of my favorite things.
It's one of those things too, because I've always found him to be kind of just lame. Like, I've never been a Batista guy, and for me, it's like you get to actually see behind the curtain a little bit, and like, okay, this dude's actually probably pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Steve Cutler, who says, although I'm part of a tag team while I wrestle, I am my own person with my own thoughts and beliefs. It pains me to see what's going on in the world. I fought for the freedom of our country and all the people who live here. It shouldn't matter your race or however you identify. We're all human beings and all deserve to be equal. So
This is his tag
Wesley
team partner?
Blake liked those.
This is his partner, or is
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
writing this. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's one of the three of the Forgotten Sons.
Fuck.
Yep, and Wesley Blake, the third one, liked those, and then he posted, "I will never understand, however I stand." Hashtag justice for George Floyd. So you then have other people. Let's see, Joey Janela saying someone's going to take a nice shit in your gear bag.
Joey.
So Sami Zayn, literally built on oppression. So let's see. Austin Aries, lay off the red Kool-Aid, dude. That shit's bad for your health. No, the blue Kool-Aid isn't any better. Fake colors are fake colors. So
He's such a vegan dickhead, but
yeah, but way to go. Way to go.
yeah.
sorry, plant-based
So
dickhead.
my question, I mean, and we can get to some more of these tweets if we want, but my biggest question is, does WWE acknowledge this? Do they even do they touch it with a 10-foot pole, or
They released a statement. You know what I mean?
They
Like,
did?
They did
They-
one of those.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
did
yeah.
one of those social
what
media
corporations do when they're trying to be nice, I guess, and stand, you know,
posts. Yeah.
we know
Yeah.
we know what corporations do.
I mean, they did it today.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah.
today. I would think that they would say, you have your right to freedom of speech. This wasn't attributed to WWE.
Yeah.
I don't know what their contract state. However, it gets tricky when you start bringing catchphrases in, which I think then can lead to an association.
100%.
So I think that's where you can kind of get fucked.
And you were implying, by using your catchphrase
Yep.
in a political statement, you are implying that the WWE would be condoning that because you're using the intellectual property attached to.
I believe you're 100% right on that. Like, it's
Yeah.
very hard if you're using a gimmicked phrase
Right.
in real life like that to separate the two, and they probably shouldn't be separated, because that's where you can make a separation, a distinct separation between
Yeah.
your kayfabe character and your real life persona. And I think they would be foolish to not take them off TV for a little bit. Like, I think that's probably what they'll do. They'll do this stereotypical WWE Vince thing where some sort of controversy comes up, you'll ignore it, kind of disguise it, sweep it under the rug for a few weeks, and then in about a month, the Forgotten Sons will be back on SmackDown in the same exact way that they were.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
I guess it really
something else
depends.
will happen in the world, and something else will happen in wrestling that we will have forgotten.
Oh yeah, it's
And not that
it's
we will have
their
forgotten, but
Saudi Arabia stuff.
it's the
They
Saudi
all,
Arabia-
They know, they go over there, they do this shit. People are all up in arms and everything like that. You know, for a month maybe, and then it's like something else like Owen just said, something else happens in the world, or literally just the world of wrestling.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, whatever, we did it, they forgot about it. It's like
Right.
constant 24-hour news cycle and the constant craziness that and fuckery that is 2020 means that there's like something else right around the fucking corner.
Yeah,
And I guess it really depends on how much traction it gets, because the internet's picked it up, but unless mainstream anything picks it up, right, like you're not really too likely to have.
And no one, it's like the Smarks picked it up, and
Right.
The blogs and shit like that. But I don't think they're actually big enough. It would be big if, and I'm going to do a nice little segue here, if you did something like Hulk Hogan did when he was on the radio and came out as overtly racist.
Look at you radio professional, you.
Like being on Nobody Cares, Go Harder.
Yeah. Do what I can.
Yeah. So now that we've derailed you from your great segue, continue with your great segue.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So
way,
I was
baby.
Gonna say, if it was someone of a higher notoriety, then that would make mainstream news and mainstream media. Right now, the Forgotten Sons are definitely not that.
That's
They're sort of who gives a shit.
Exactly. They're in the wrestling paradigm that we're all in. So we know and understand, and we're catching on to it and reading the tweets, that other wrestlers are saying. But if it was someone like Hulk Hogan, who on the radio station came out and was, like I said, overtly racist, and he's also gone to task and was, banned from WWE for a while. He's now come back. He apparently had a conversation with the wrestlers in the locker room. Apparently some of them
accepted it. Some of them didn't.
Yeah, they kind of just had to kind of go with it because he was coming in regardless. Again, back to what we were just talking about, WWE will just say whatever, we're doing what we want.
And whatever they want.
Yeah, he came in, we did a backstage apology. I don't know what the fuck else you want. We're going to use him for ticket sales, But anyway, so I guess it was his ex-wife, and she tweeted.
Before you read the tweet, I just want to point out that Norm in the chat room has said segues make me hard. So
we'll do more segues, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Keep it flowing. Yeah, gotta keep Norm hard.
I got.
So Linda Hogan, she posted on Twitter and she said, "Watching the looting, it's all Afro-Americans. Not sure how robbing and stealing set the record straight, but if they want to be heard, they need to be civilized."
All right, Linda.
Okay.
God damn it. What? I mean,
all right, there's a lot to unpack in that.
Yes, it's a very layered tweet right there.
But can we just say, how the fuck backwater Florida from 1960 do you have to be to call somebody Afro-American?
Afro-American? Like, what
God
the fuck?
Damn it. What the fuck is that?
What is that?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Again, somebody who's double downing and then tripling down on the double down.
Triple down on the double down.
Went on the Smollett train. Hopped on the Smollett train.
Exactly.
Jesus.
So then you have none other than Tony Khan replying to her tweet at 12:57 p.m. today.
Tony Khan, by the way, if you don't know, is the owner and chief proprietor of All Elite Wrestling, AEW.
Yep. So he said, "You've now joined your husband in being banned from all AEW shows. Congratulations."
Boom. And then apparently Sunny replied to some tweet today.
What is that whore doing?
She tweeted #white power.
Oh no, Sunny, what are you doing?
I'm like, what are you doing?
You used to be so hot back in the day.
Well, first of all, she's very arguably not attractive anymore.
No,
I'm sure she would be a prize for somebody.
You know what?
Somewhere in the trailer.
Might. I mean, I didn't know she was all like a Klansman, but prior to the Klansman, I might have. I might have.
Yeah, you might have.
Yeah,
after enough beers.
Even like just because. Come on, look at big old Sunny right there. Look at.
Are you looking at her right now?
Might be. I mean, you can't see from my waist down, so
No, thank fuck I can't.
Yeah, we're all not wearing pants.
No, none of us have been wearing pants for fucking months.
I put on shorts today. Actually, I had to bring the trash cans in.
Dude, I remembered like what a belt was the other day. I put a belt on for the first time, and I was like, oh shit, I remember these.
Yeah.
How does it work again? Which is the right hole?
Exactly.
All I know about my belt is that it does not fit quite as tight as it used to. I'm just like, oh, we're on this hole now.
Oh wait, so you lost weight, or because
No.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. All right.
No,
yeah.
No, it used to be on like the.
I think you said it
hole
backwards. Is all I'm saying. But I get what you mean.
Whatever. I don't give a shit.
It's probably also
Whoever's listening.
One reason why they use the snap buckles. I know they use them because it's easy to remove for wrestling belts, but why they don't use an actual buckle is because there's a chance of weight fluctuation. You know, when you get to like you're on that one hole and like it starts stretching and and you're like, no, I can leave it. And then all of a sudden one day you gotta go to the next one, but the next one's too big, and you're like, man, I should really just buy a hole puncher and like make one in the middle, but I stretched it too far. And then the next time you think you learn that lesson, you're like, fuck, I don't have a hole puncher. I'm not going to buy one. I'm gonna knife this shit.
Oh, I've knifed the belt. Nightmare. I've knifed the belt before.
We've all knifed the belt before, and we've all fucked the belt up by knifing it before.
Yep.
Yeah. Norm in the chat has just come to the realization. He just says, God damn, a hole puncher? That's smart as fuck.
Yeah. Matthew, he's Canadian. He thinks of things like this.
Yeah.
My dad had one.
He's got more money. He's got more money than us. He's got the brains. He's got the brains and the charisma. That's why we keep him around. It's why we keep him around.
Yeah, this is my vanity mirror that I get dressed in every morning.
So
it's good. I enjoy it.
So how many other Hogans are left that haven't wrapped their cars around trees? Is it just
Nick
Brooke?
Nick Hogan's dating a black chick.
Is she?
I almost guarantee she's like a Instagram model.
Or is he?
Hold on.
Oh man, this is not going to go.
So wait,
well
there's Nick. So there's Nick and Brooke. That's it, right? Is that the?
Yeah.
That's the Hogans.
Oh yeah, no, he didn't reproduce any more than that. Luckily,
that we know of. Somewhere out there is a 30-year-old guy with a skullet already that like happened way back in the day. You know that's true.
I'm sure there's a little Hulkster running around somewhere.
Like Brooke was never attractive either. She just looks too much like her dad. Like she's got that. They tried to make her attractive, you know?
Yeah.
With all the
when
music.
She was doing her rap thing, which then led to Hulk Hogan's racism being put on display in the first place.
Blizz
it
Piz.
all comes back.
The old Blizz Piz. It all comes back around.
It all does. Also, like the unfortunate thing of some girls looking like their dad is like Brooke looks like Hulk and Brock Lesnar's poor daughter.
I was about to say.
Yeah, that one's just frightening. I mean,
like,
but Brock Lesnar's daughter, how old do you think she is now? Brock Lesnar's daughter.
I think she's like old enough to legally own a gun. So
okay. I mean, because no one, I like your word choicing on that because you could have said something completely different.
I don't know where you think I was going to go with that, but I'm really terrified of the prospect of Brock Lesnar's daughter anywhere near a wiener, let alone
that eats wieners for breakfast, right? Like it just like that's Brock Lesnar's.
All right,
classing it up, you know.
I think I'm
so glad.
I think she's got some black in her. She may have done some Michael Jackson whitening. She may have something else in her too, maybe some Asian something. But I don't know. She was married to what's his name? Apparently, right before this, football player, Heisman Trophy guy.
Who Brooke was?
Johnny Manziel. Now she's dating Nick Hogan, so she really stepped up a notch there.
Oh, okay.
Because he's like the best DJ in the world.
Apparently, Norm's kind of got the hots for Linda, and he said that Linda was way hotter than Brooke back in the day. You know what, Norm? I would probably bang Linda before I'd bang Brooke.
I'm looking them up.
I don't know.
Linda probably has less diseases overall.
Yeah, but she's also got that really like Hulk Hogan leathery skin. Imagine
Oh my God,
doing
dude,
it's just like that's belts slapping together.
The microwaved hot dog look. That's what that is.
It's like the old lady from There's Something About Mary.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Or from Kingpin, who I think is the same lady.
That one. Yeah,
I think that's the same lady.
Mm-hmm.
And either way, leathery, and it would be like fucking an alligator handbag.
Doesn't she also have like a fucking like 18-year-old boyfriend? Nothing from that family surprises me at all.
Not at all.
This is what I'm saying. It's fucking weird, bro.
So at the end of the day, Tony Khan, AEW, quality move. Maybe not. Maybe just like, kind of just play it safe. And maybe Nick and Brooke should probably be left alone there as well. Maybe they should stay away.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of this? I saw it because I read a couple articles that popped up in my feed about this, and someone in one of their articles said, AEW gets a lot of criticism because they use these types of things where they're really good at clapping back on social media when it comes to things that are like this, that are like for causes and things like that.
Yep.
But they don't necessarily, and like because AEW is all inclusive, they can clap back about these things and it makes them all inclusive. But what are they really doing for any of the movements or showing their solidarity or support? Other than
just saying they're showing their support.
In the clapbacks.
Yeah, I think that's a question that all of us have been having just as human beings. It's like, what do we do? Like, there's a confusion about that in life right now. And I think that their intentions are probably good. I think that Tony Khan really is probably a good guy. And of course, it does make for good publicity. But at the same time, think that it's genuine, like he's actually trying. I don't necessarily think it's a publicity stunt is what I'm trying to make the point
agree
of.
with that. And I was just bringing it up as a point of conversation because I read
it's
it and I
fair
think
point.
It goes back to what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago about Nyla Rose, and when that championship match was going down, we were talking. I think it was maybe the predictions for Double or Nothing. Owen, you and I were talking about.
Yeah,
like we were saying, maybe a good time to lose, but like she was a good champion to have, which was championing a cause.
Yep.
Also, and like being inclusive. So I mean, they have done things like that.
They had the whole
Sunny Kiss. You look at like these types of wrestlers and things like that. So they are bringing it in and letting people, of all genders and identities and things like that do that to an extent. So I also do kind of disagree. I also thought it was just an interesting comment. But to your guys' point, it is kind of like, what do you do? Because it is a double-edged sword. You then blatantly do something, especially at a time like this. I mean, and everyone
have it look like you're trying to take advantage of the situation.
And people are always gonna. It's like you're never gonna win. So take your shots when you have them, but also be supportive and build slowly. So I think that's what Tony Khan and AEW
I think so.
doing.
I think they did kind of a misstep. I can't remember if it was this past Dynamite or the Dynamite before. Jericho's made a couple of these now, I guess, but I always forget the terminology that's correct for the thing that AEW has done for like the autism spectrum and tried to make what's the term?
Sensory awareness.
Sensory awareness. I think I even had to ask you when we were at Double or Nothing. I'm just like, that was new to me. I hadn't ever heard terminology before. And, I think it's really cool they've done that. Well, I forget what the joke was now, but Jericho had something involved when it came to like the earmuffs thing. No, it was because of the bell ringing. Remember this must have been this past Dynamite. It was because it was the first Dynamite after Double or Nothing. And then we had, I can't remember, was it Santana or Ortiz that got his bell rung, literally, you know, remember? And then Jericho,
the way that he acted.
Jericho gifted, I forget which one it is, if it's Santana or Ortiz, but gifted him like a set of like earmuffs to and it's a little bit of I don't know. You're dancing on dangerous ground there a slight bit, I would say, especially with that one. Probably not intended at all, of course, to be any, like, just didn't think about it. I'm sure that was all that was that case. But then Jericho goes and sticks his foot again in kind of the puddle this past week with tweeting All Lives Matter. And
in a reply to somebody, it wasn't even like like this is the thing, man. Like it's just he in a response to somebody tweeted hashtag All Lives Matter. It's just like, well, first of all, you have to know that that's very tone deaf. Like that's the problem that people are looking at right now.
Yeah, none of us actually. I mean, the people that are angry at that phrase isn't because that we don't think all lives matter. All lives, of course, matter. That's part of the point. But you're missing the whole. You're what's the term I'm looking for? You're diminishing, or you're
you're trying to take away. You're trying to. It's not really part of the same argument. Of course, all lives matter, but Black lives matter. Black lives have to matter for all lives to matter.
For all lives to matter. Exactly.
You're almost diminishing a cause, and because you're making it all inclusive as opposed to these ones that are oppressed and
that are dealing with the real injustice actively. And the real
And a lot of people are, just haven't really it took me a while to kind of click into some of that too, like to click into that like mentality and that mindset and really understand exactly what that whole thing really truly means. And that's this is why we're also having a long conversation on a wrestling podcast about fucking race relations.
It does all eventually come back into everything else.
Correct. So for me, it was kind of like an eye-opening thing. I don't think Jericho meant it in any harm, but nobody really does when they're saying it a lot of times. I think that, we all know
a lot of people don't mean it with any harm, but a lot of people are purposely using it to diminish from the Black Lives Matter issue. Mm-hmm. It's just like it's not.
I think you're right. There's some people that mean it one way, and there's some people that mean it another. And I really truly don't think that Jericho. From my experience of just looking at his career and the way he's talked and who he is, he's not a racist dude. I just think it's an uninformed, statement that he's making. And if anybody can kind of come out of it okay, it's Jericho. Let's be real.
Well, and he'll also speak his mind about it and be able to actually speak up and make a point and be like, no, you know what? Here's what. Listen up, you stupid idiots. Here's what I meant. And maybe I actually, maybe I did misspeak. And I think he actually would probably be one of the people to actually step up and say, if he thought that was the case, he would say, maybe it was wrong and it came off wrong, but I didn't mean it that way, but also I understand, and I apologize, because I don't think that he has any.
He's a big enough dude at the core of it. I think he's smart enough, and it might even take a conversation with Tony Khan or something, who's clearly got his head on straight with some of this, to just say, hey, Chris, just so you know, this is the way, even though maybe you don't perceive it like this, this is the way this comes off. This is the way it is being perceived.
Absolutely.
So, and I'd like to think, just as being a fan of the guy for so many years, that that Jericho's smart enough to, at least address it and make some sort of statement about it. And I think on his next podcast, we'll probably get something of the sort.
Sure.
That being said, is there much more we need to add to this particular topic? Because we spent a lot of time on it, and it's very worthy of us spending a lot of time on. Do not get me wrong. But do we kind of want to switch gears a little bit and move into maybe something a little bit more lighthearted this evening?
Yeah.
I mean, fine.
I will lighten it really quickly by saying, one, I did watch SmackDown. And I know that I said in previous podcasts, Duncan, you're loving that I'm calling this back. But I said in previous podcasts recently that I haven't watched a full episode or anything of WWE recently, which I had not. But this past weekend, I did find myself with a little bit of time, and I was like, wow, I actually have like an hour and a half, 2 hours to just sit here and actually focus on something. And like, it was one of those things where if I didn't put something on, I was going to spend that hour and a half, 2 hours scrolling through
looking
everything,
for something to put on.
Yeah. And so I just had to put something on. I'd already watched Dynamite, and I was like, I'm not watching Raw, but I'd read some of the results on SmackDown so far, but I hadn't read all of them. And I was like, fuck it, man, I'm just going to watch it. And like I said, I fast forwarded through some of the bullshit. There was some okay matches. I mean, that last match was pretty okay. It wasn't like the worst that I've seen recently. I will say that having the fans there, quote fans, I think helps a little bit to add to things. I'm still not completely sold on like the hockey rink plexiglass and such, and or making them stand all the time.
Yeah, that's give them some fucking chairs, goddammit.
Come on.
Like,
seriously, come on. But I will say it was okay. But I will say I've been challenging myself. So I did say on the last podcast that we had talked about Dark Side of the Ring, and I watched that Owen Hart WrestleMania 10. And so I thought, man, fuck, like I technically didn't get like the full quarantine experience because I had to keep working from home and stuff. I was like, man, I should have just
and you
watched,
hadn't
like,
almost
every WrestleMania.
thrown yourself off a bridge from watching all the Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's half of the quarantine wrestling experience, is it not?
Well, I thought maybe
Duncan
I should
knows.
just like watch all WrestleManias starting at 1 and go through, and then I was like, oh, that'd be great. I was like, I don't have time for that.
Don't have that.
So I was like, well, maybe once a week I'm gonna try and watch a classic match, because I watched this one with Owen Hart versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10, and then on the last episode we didn't get one this past Sunday. I think we don't get one until like
is this a goal? Is this a goal for the week? We all watch a classic match. I love this. This is a great idea, actually.
I think it's good because I did it because this past week, I know this Sunday we didn't get an Undertaker The Last Ride, but I watched episode 3, the previous week, and he's talking about all those matches. So I've been watching those. So I'm halfway through the 26 Shawn Michaels and Undertaker match, but I watched the full WrestleMania 25 match before that.
Oh, wow.
Which is fucking awesome.
I need to go back.
Undertaker and Shawn Michaels is fucking awesome.
I need to see it again. It's been so long that I don't think
it's so good.
That I don't think that I remember half the things about it. Like, yeah, that was also a weird time for me with wrestling too, and it's two of my favorite fucking wrestlers of all time. And I mean, I have seen the match, trust me, but it's been ages.
It's been forever for me too. So it's like, and the like, I don't know, just what we've seen with Taker, in recent years, and we've all had the same kind of opinion, is like, he's slow. He's not the same as he used to be. He knows that. He's mentioned it on the last ride in these interviews and stuff. But like that match, you see what he is fully capable of. You see like not only him and Sean like is just fucking amazing, obviously, but like the pace of the match, the storytelling, like the emotion that both of them have in their facial expressions, the way they sell, the way they work together, and knowing from watching that also that he's not the biggest fan of Sean and stuff like that, but he's like, there's nobody I'd rather work in the ring with.
Still work
There's a lot of respect there, and so watching it after watching that third episode of Last Ride, I was like, and this even more respect for this match. So I would highly recommend it. It's start to finish. There's like not a lot of fucking like lag and like lollygagging, kind of going around.
It's just a straight, and you're talking about the first
25.
one, 25.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
25. So
Yeah.
26 is amazing too. I'm halfway through it, but I remember watching it and knowing it's amazing. That's Shawn Michaels' last match.
100%. Yeah.
I'm halfway through that. I just couldn't watch it all the way through, but yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of trying to make it a thing. I'm glad you said that, because I am kind of trying to make it a thing that maybe we all decide to watch one.
Yeah, maybe we'll
classic,
figure
and
out.
it doesn't have to be WWE. It could be anything.
100%.
Wrestling match a week that we could all just kind of bring to the table, have a quick, like, here's a couple of my thoughts, go check it out or something.
Yeah. That's a really good point. We can talk, and then we can come and each give our own little opinion after watching it each and every week. So yeah, we'll come up with one. And if you have suggestions out there, hit us up on our Facebook. If you have suggestions for matches that we should watch and not review, but just give a few thoughts on, that would be really cool. Just throw them on our Facebook group or whatever. You know how that shit works. I did find it funny, Duncan, though, that Matthew is the guy that's the busiest out of all of us, and he's the only one that watched a full episode of WWE programming.
It's true.
This
true.
This is
that must be how brain dead I am after working so fucking much.
Also true. I mean, I could have caught the 90-minute Hulu recap. It's just by the time it happens, I'm just
I just do the whole, like, I'm gonna go on YouTube. I'm gonna listen to a bit of commentary. I'm gonna find the important spots that I know that I need to watch, and that's enough, because it's a lot of this is painful to watch. I'll say that getting Riddle to STL is gonna be interesting. The rumors, of course, were that Kurt Angle was offered Kurt Angle was offered a managerial job with Matt Riddle. I can't imagine. A lot of people were creaming over this, oh, how cool would that have been? I'm like, no. This is
why would it? He doesn't need a manager.
First off, he doesn't need a manager. Number one, and also Angle is what was I saying to you about him the other day?
I thought they let him go.
I'm like,
oh, you said that he looks like special. What do you say? Special needs something.
Yeah.
Fucking Humpty Dumpty.
He just looks like a lost special needs kid in a ring sometimes, and he can't even pronounce the name of the company. Matthew, to your what you just said there, your point just a second ago, he was one of those weird ones that was rumored that never was. There were one or two that came out on the lists of people on that Black Wednesday. I think he was on that list, but actually wasn't ever let go from the company.
Who, Angle?
Angle, yeah. Or
I thought he was let go, but
maybe it was a different situation. I don't know. I thought I heard the opposite. I thought that he was that one was a mistake. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Who fucking knows, man? It's sort of like the Drew Gulak thing, right? He just signed a new deal.
Sure.
They're letting people go and bringing them back. It's who the fuck knows anymore.
I'm digging how they're at least trying to make Riddle feel like a big deal on SmackDown. I like that a lot. That's a start.
I mean, they should treat him like a big deal because he is.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people might not necessarily think that or know that, but Riddle is a fucking beast. He can be that hard hitting.
He got the North American, right? Did he? In NXT? Did he? Now I'm questioning myself.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Riddle.
I don't think he.
Did he get Eddie? Did he get?
I don't think he's had the tag team title.
Yeah,
I think
that's what I was gonna say.
The tag team titles.
With, Pete Dunne.
Yeah, with Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne. Sorry,
Pete Dunne. I like that.
Dean.
No, I feel like. Yeah. I guess
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. Now that I think about it, maybe I'm imagining that. Maybe he challenged for it, but
No,
I think he did challenge for it.
Matthew, you got it. He didn't.
On Wikipedia, at least, is saying that he was just one part of the NXT Tag Champions.
Well, yeah, Wikipedia would actually have that fact right. I would believe them on that one. So
yeah, well, other parts of Google are also reinforcing that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, fair enough. No. I believe you. That's 100%. But
look at that,
it's
double fact checking. See that?
double fact.
No
Confirming
here.
Confirming your sources.
Yeah.
The Bobski's on top of it, bro. Like,
It really is.
yeah. But no, it's
Like he's a Cub reporter.
What do you suggest with Riddle coming in to SmackDown Live? Where do they put him? Do they go straight for the main title, which leads it to Braun? Do you have him in the IC title picture?
Well, apparently, I think yeah.
I mean, because that's the move, isn't it? Right? Like
I think
the
that's
tournament.
the move. You got to keep him at like a mid-upper card, and I'd like to see. Apparently, another segue here for Norm talking about the IC title. They have, they've been having this tournament and such, and on the last SmackDown, we had everyone kind of arguing over it. AJ said, I'm just taking myself to the finals. Daniel Bryan saying, no, I'm actually going to go out there and wrestle Sheamus. We're going to have this battle royale. Then I'm going to wrestle whoever wins that. And then see whoever, me or whoever does this goes to the finals. He and Sheamus main evented SmackDown. And then, apparently they already recorded the AJ Daniel Bryan match, and apparently it's fucking really good.
That's what people are saying, but we've heard that. We've heard that before once or twice.
I mean, we also hear that
with
Edge
those
versus
two
Randy Orton is about to be the best wrestling match.
Well,
ever,
it is
ever.
I mean, are you guys not excited for the best wrestling match?
I haven't been able to sleep in weeks.
Ever?
Yeah, after I was so negative about their fucking WrestleMania one.
All talking shit aside, I have in the highlights that I watched of SmackDown, the Randy Orton promo made me laugh. I thought it was wonderful, and I think I like Randy Orton again now. I don't know how he keeps doing it.
He does that every so often. We
This
hate Randy Orton, and then we love Randy Orton. We're like, God damn it, Randy.
Dude,
I hate him more than I love him, but when he does it, I'm just like...
The whole point of the promo is that he's like, yeah, Edge, you accused me of basically half-assing, my way through a career. And he's like, yeah.
And you right.
I did. I just half-assed my way, and I'm still better than you. Now, if you look at their titles compared and you actually analyze it, Edge has actually won more titles. So the argument isn't really there, but for Randy Orton to be basically like, hey, I won, 2 less titles than you, and I did it without even trying, bro. I hate it so much that I love it, and I think it's
so I didn't try, and I still didn't do as good as you.
Yeah.
But
I just want you to know that.
Cool, bro. I just
think,
but it fits his character so goddamn well.
It does. It really does.
It's ridiculous.
And the way he said it it makes it that much better, because that's the way he actually gets it across.
100%.
What do you guys think of the stupid? And it's only because I fucking watched so much of it, with the fucking Jeff Hardy using the drunk driving thing.
Yeah, let's take advantage of another sensitive issue that he's been struggling with for his whole goddamn life.
Yeah.
And let's make that part of a major portion of his storyline.
Yeah, which also there are a couple flaws there. One, I don't understand. There's only 2 cops there, and I know it's wrestling, but I'm going to talk semantics here for a second. But there's only 2 cops there, but there's 6 referees around. What? It's a fucking car crash outside of the Performance Center. No referee has any jurisdiction out here, whatsoever. So
no, the 20
false,
the
Matthew. No. Of course they have jurisdiction. They are referees when in the shirt. they have full jurisdiction
fucking go
at all
anywhere.
times. That is how.
Dude, I'm gonna
maybe
get a
the
referee shirt
24/7
and just walk around and into places and backstage and
Yeah.
when you're allowed to have stages
you
again.
just start doing the Rick Knox thing and just start like counting people, like doing
Yeah.
the 5 count.
Just here we go. 1,
I-
2.
Well, and they're so used to it that that they just freak out and they actually like have to like.
They're like, oh fuck, okay.
Yeah. But like, so that I thought was funny, but I also thought it was funny that like the stop sign or street sign is kind of on the angle. There's 0 damage to the front of that car whatsoever.
Right.
They just push
The
that
hood
thing over.
popped.
They got
Yeah,
Bra
it's
to
just
go
fucking
out there
normal.
and move it for just
Yeah.
grrr.
Somehow made it like 30 feet and ended up in a bush. And then then he goes to jail on apparently drunk driving and actually like injuring Elias. And then for some reason shows up at the end of SmackDown. No one gets booked and goes to jail.
Never
It's out like
in
that.
a billion
Driving
years.
charge, whether you
No.
or not.
Not on a Friday fucking night. Are
No.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
You're spending the weekend in jail.
Yeah, bro.
You know?
You're in there.
So they took advantage of it, but just there were a lot of loops in that story. Like
Jesus.
loopholes. Like I don't know. Just saying.
Maybe Jeff Hardy's got them Winter Park cops paid off. That's all I know.
Maybe, but also it's just like, even if he signed off on it and he's okay with it, it's just like, it's really not cool to be using his personal
No.
problems like that. It's the same as the Road Warrior Hawk. It's the same as any other time they've used somebody's personal demons in a storyline, like
It
the Scott
never
Hall thing.
goes well.
Never.
It never goes well. It's a bad move.
It really is.
Yeah.
So I want to hear a little bit, just switching gears. Duncan,
Yo.
you told me the other day that you have a new best friend online. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's stoned.
I
Give him
had
a
to think about
second.
this.
Satellite delay.
Duncan
I was
makes
like-
so many new best friends online. every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. No, so the other day, I don't know. The other day I was on. This is fucking ridiculous. The other day I'm on Twitter, and I see a tweet, and it says, "Hey, follow me. I'll follow you back." And it's Conan. You
Good
know,
old
K-Dog.
Conan, K-Dog, formerly of the
Yeah.
Wolf Pack, bro.
All right. And I was like, "Viva La Raza. What's up? I'll fucking follow Conan." Do I already follow Conan? No, I don't. Okay, fine. I'll go and I will fucking follow Conan. So I follow Conan. And like the next day, I follow Conan. I get a notification a little while later. Conan has followed you back. I'm like, cool.
Cool.
Awesome. Me and K-Dog are homies now.
But then,
and then
does
the
he
next
start
day-
slipping into your DMs? Is that what I'm picking up on here?
The next day, you have a direct message on Twitter. Okay,
Okay.
we'll check this out.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on in this
But-
situation.
I swear, it's fucking, it's fucking Conan.
Okay.
And he's like, "Yo, dog," and it's like a pre-recorded or like a
He's
cut and
it's a
paste.
cut and paste. It's a cut and paste thing. Okay.
And but it starts out, it's just like, "Yo, check out my Patreon," and here's this, and then he's just like,
He says, sounds
You-
worse than me.
"I could read it, but I don't want to, because it's terrible." And it's like,
Read it.
All right, fine.
read
Hold
it.
on.
Yeah, you gotta read it.
Sorry, I
Alright.
went off video because my docking station got unplugged. I didn't
Yeah,
know
you're
this
just
was, like,
hitting the
running
bull.
around.
I know what you're doing.
It's okay, it happens.
Yeah, we're all allowed.
Yeah, we all get it. All right, hang on.
I
let me go
fucking
to-
live in Colorado. We legalized this shit, so I
It's
could definitely
true.
do it here. I don't need to unplug the video.
It's like I do.
Yeah,
what
but I
want.
got to for Twitch. It's not a you thing. It's a fucking it's a Twitch thing, man. It's just like it's the terms of service and whatnot.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
They kick you
Oh.
off and whatever. So
Did
You
not
know.
know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry, it,
All
it
right.
really was my my docking station. Got him.
Okay, so here
I'm
we go.
back.
So he says, the first message is, "Have you heard my podcast?"
And you're like, nah, dog. But you
No.
reply.
And I'm like,
reply.
I am
That's
not
gonna be a
keep-
no for me, dog.
I'm like, I'm not keeping it 100 because that's the name of his podcast.
Uh-huh.
Is Keeping It 100 with
Oh,
Conan.
look at you! But what you're doing is you're at least showing him like, hey, I might not have heard it, but I'm aware of it.
Right, and he goes, "Check it out and let me know what you think.
Okay.
Thank you. Spread the word to like-minded friends. Listen to earlier shows. Check out my Patreon site at blah blah. What city you rep? I'm gonna shout you out next show."
What city you
Shit.
rep?
So he's just gonna
Yeah,
shout. Is
dog.
he gonna shout? You were the city.
And
Yeah.
then
Sounds
I
like
was
maybe the city.
He was like, "What city you rep? I'm gonna shout you out next." So I was like, Orlando. He goes, "Here's the link to the podcast.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Listen to earlier shows. I'm gonna shout you out in 5 weeks on the show. Don't forget to subscribe."
Oh yeah,
5
dog.
weeks.
In
You gotta
5
do
weeks.
5 weeks of listening.
Yeah,
Duncan's gonna-
apparently so. And
Dude.
I'm like, look, I hate to break it to him, but fucking Disco Inferno is on his goddamn show. There is not a chance in hell I'm gonna be listening or donating money to anything that Disco fucking Inferno's involved. You can go fuck yourself.
He's an
Disco.
asshole, huh? Disco
He is
Inferno.
a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Fuck Disco.
I only learned about all that stuff with Disco like relatively recently. I want to say like he's kind of got a racist like sexist thing too, right? Like
he's a little bit MAGA.
yeah. Just on yeah. But that's hilarious. So you know what you need to do is we need to have you once a week.
Don't make me be friends with Conan.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be
Yes.
friends with Conan now.
Oh
And so
You also need to
So-
listen to an old podcast. So we'll watch an old wrestling match a week. You listen to an old
Yeah.
fucking podcast a week.
what you have to do, Duncan, is you have to ask Conan a question a week. It's just one question that's like a
Oh.
yes or no, and we'll get it to the bottom of who Conan is, and just be like,
What do we?
"Yo,
what
dog.
do we want to know?
Well, what do we want to know from Conan? Yo, dog. How? I don't know. Shit.
Okay, all right. First
Well,
of all,
start
do
small.
we know anything
Start small.
about Conan?
Nope.
No, hold on. Do we know anything about Conan other than he was in the NWO Wolfpack and probably the Latino World Order? I'm saying that because of racially stereotyping, and I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that like everything that we do with our interviews with ONW, what's our first
Oh,
question
God.
that we ask?
Question. Yeah.
Do you have a dog?
Yeah. You got any pets?
I'll ask him if
And
he's got any
you
pets.
just be like, yo,
Be
dog,
like-
you got any pets?
Be like, yo, dog, I'm really looking forward to you shouting me out in 5 weeks. You got any pets? I sort of love animals.
Yeah, exactly. Norm is busted my balls, by the way, in the chat room. Basically, like, come on, Jesus, Owen, you couldn't even come up with one fucking question. Like,
I mean,
One
look,
question for
Norm,
Conan.
in fairness, this is the kind of on-the-spot journalism that we get when we're doing interviews in the field.
yeah.
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Do you have any pets?
do you have any pets?
And
Do
then
you
from
like
there,
Coors?
it's
Do you
like,
like
do
Coors?
you- then it's just like, hey, Glacier, do you like drinking beer, you old fuck?
What's
Who then
weird?
Owen ran into at the fucking
I
airport.
keep
like,
running
fucking
into
2 months
Glacier.
later.
Glacier is, I think, my like guardian angel. He comes in. Glacier comes and takes care of me whenever there's a problem. And
You fucking have a Coors Light with him at the airport fucking bar?
yes, I bought him one.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I bought him one.
Fucking
me,
those
Glacier.
Coors Light, because those fucking Rocky Mountains are ice cold, just like Glacier.
And he's so.
Yeah.
I think there was that glint in his eye that like he sort of remembered me. He didn't remember me, but I was like, dude, I totally had an interview
He's
with
got,
you.
dude, CTE, bro.
Yeah, but I bought him a beer, so that's
That's all that matters.
Whatever. Glacier was fucking cool.
Fuck it, yeah.
Glacier was cool as shit.
Probably the coolest of the WCW's intros, right? Like how many other cool WCW intros? Well,
I
Goldberg.
mean,
I guess.
if they'd have gotten away
But-
with the rest of the Mortal Kombat characters, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Ooh, God,
I don't know. I was a fan of the worst wrestler ever was the Kiss Demon, and I was just like, fuck yeah, dude. Fat Duncan loved the Kiss Demon. Oh yeah, you fucking
the Kiss Demon. Who was that? Was an actual wrestler too, right?
I think that was Crush.
It was it Crush, really?
It was Crush. I swear it was Crush. Matthew, look it up. You're our source of information.
Was the Kiss Demon Crush? Yeah. I don't think it was Crush. I don't think the Kiss Demon was
Who
Crush.
was the Kiss Demon in WCW? I think it was Crush. I think it was Bryan Adams.
No way.
Maybe.
I'm gonna go no
I want
on
to
this
say Bryan
one.
Adams.
I don't think it was.
Or some complete other jobber.
Fuck.
It's tough, right?
I think it's a jobber. I'm going jobber on this.
You're going jobber?
Dale Torborg?
Yeah.
Okay, so jobber.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you are born, if you're born with the name Dale Torborg, you're destined to be a jobber. Not only in wrestling, but just in life. Like you.
Or a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that
he
old.
He could be the number 7 driver for the Mountain Dew Cup.
But weirdly, has a big old dick. He's a Tolborger, you know, like he's got a big old Tolborg.
Torberg.
Yeah.
Oh, he was part of the. Do you guys remember the Dark Carnival, Vampiro, the Demon, and Insane Clown Posse? Owen's fucking homies.
Yeah, those are totally my. I love those guys.
Yeah, so the Demon turned.
I remember that.
And feuded with Vampiro. When WCW was bought by WWE in 2001, Torborg opted to go back to being a baseball strength coach. I don't think he opted to do anything. I think he
probably
didn't fucking get signed.
I think if we could go back and see who edited his Wikipedia article on that, it would say Dale Torborg edited this to say that Dale Torborg did not fucking get fired when they bought that contract out.
Yeah, and that whole Simpsons thing from years ago when Bart and Homer are in the car and like I forget what they're arguing about or something like that, and Bart says like, "No, it says this on Wikipedia, Dad." And Homer goes, "Don't worry, son. We'll change that when we'll
change that."
Also, Dale Torborg has an 11-inch penis. That's definitely in his Wikipedia.
Yeah,
but that one is true.
Maybe we could get him on the podcast.
Yeah, let's get Dale Torborg on the podcast. That would be an interesting conversation.
Only if he's in full Kiss gimmick. That's the only way.
Only way.
One of the more interesting topics that we were kind of shooting the shit about.
Shoot around that one. I see how it's gonna be.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. No, goddamn it, Matthew, you actually had a really great a topic earlier in the week. Basically because we've got Cody now with his TNT championship, and in interviews he's been asked, can a non-AEW competitor challenge for the TNT championship? And you asked, like, well, if that's possible, who would you like to see? Now, granted, this would obviously not apply to a WWE, guy. This would have to be probably a guy that's working the indie scene, or maybe
an open-ish contract.
Yeah, maybe like a Ring of Honor or a New
like
Japan.
a Marty Scurll.
Marty Scurll is the one that you mentioned. Who, I mean, goddamn, I'd pay good money to see that. I'd be really into that one.
I'd pay good money to see that. I think. I mean, there are a lot of them. There are a lot in. I mean, I think we could break this into like two different segments, like because not segments, but two different parties. Because I think there are obviously people from AEW who are going to challenge for it, and I think you have people who could do amazing, who could value from having a championship and beating Cody. You have people like Darby Allin. You have people like Jungle Boy. Obviously someone like MJF, but I don't think he needs it, but he could be very cocky about it. But and then somebody beating him instead of having to have Cody put, but I think Cody would want to put somebody over, younger in the company. So I think there are people like that, like, I don't know, like, Phoenix or like,
oh yeah, absolutely,
like Scorpio or something like that. I think so. Yep. I think you could talk about all this stuff. Yeah. Kazarian, you could talk about all that, but like, there are all these other people that
Yeah,
they
let's
could
talk
possibly do,
about-
like Matt
Yeah.
Cardona, like Zack Ryder.
Okay.
Like
Good
that would be a
shout,
good match.
Good shout. Good shout. That
I
would
could
be...
see that one. I would love to see Will Ospreay.
Ooh, ho, 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 ho. Yeah,
Look, I'm just saying, if it's open to anybody,
sure.
Yeah.
fuck it.
Miro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one,
Uh,
that one works. Although I almost think that Miro, if he does come to AEW, needs to go straight, top of the card. I don't know that he needs to be mid card TNT champion. I think that him and Moxley would have an amazing, feud.
They would, but you don't want to bring him up and just have him get beaten by Moxley in his first shot.
Sure,
right?
You don't want to Brody Liam.
And then 2, you don't want your next champion for AEW being a former WWE guy.
Yeah.
It really needs to not be.
It definitely needs to not be.
So, that's sort of the
Davey Boy Smith Jr.
wouldn't be terrible. Tamatonga.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that works. That works.
Luke Gallows.
Oh, I'd say if
The
you go
Machine
either,
Gun?
I'd say you go
Carl
if you
Anderson?
go either of the Good Brothers, you go Machine Gun. Yeah. Carl Anderson.
No, you go Carl Anderson because he's definitely he can go. Not that Gallows can't go, but as far as the real workhorse, the real,
Yeah.
the main event wrestler in those 2 is Anderson.
Yeah, definitely. Brian Pillman Jr.
Pillman Jr., Zack Sabre Jr.,
Zack Sabre Jr.
Tanahashi.
That would be a great match, Zack Sabre Jr. and
Here's
Cody.
one here's one that I think would be perfect for it if he ever wants
Joey
another
Ryan.
match is Stu Bennett.
Oh yeah, bad news.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
I
that
can see
would
that.
work. I think maybe they could, because AEW and NWA would seemingly work quite well together, and I feel like even just location wise, they could probably utilize each other's talent at times. So
Yeah.
just thinking about maybe some of those NWA guys, that would be a nice way to cross promote some of that. I mean, fucking Nick
We've already
Aldis is
seen
Nick
Nick
Aldis is
Aldis,
too good
yeah.
for that. But yeah, you could do the rematch with Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
You could do that
Title
under an
for
AEW
title.
banner, title for title.
Yeah.
Marty would be great. I would love to see Brody King in there.
I could,
Personally?
I'd like to see Brody King in there too.
That would be a good match for Cody because Brody would beat the ever living shit out of him and still sell for Cody to get his shit in. Cody could win.
Cody could get a lot of sympathy with him.
Yes.
On the AEW front, what happened to the Bastard?
Oh, that's a good. I guess he's just stuck in the
Like,
UK.
what happened
He's
to
stuck
him?
in Newcastle.
I think they're just not talking about him because he's probably stuck in the UK, right?
He's stuck in Newcastle.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He goes home, I think, in between all those shows, and they don't use him. They don't use him a ton, and I think he's one in particular that has one of those contracts that allows him to.
It allows him to do other things.
Kinda
Yeah,
work,
I think you're probably right.
You're correct there. I just haven't heard anything in pro wrestling with him, and that makes complete sense with the whole pandemic, is that he hasn't been able to go anywhere.
Do you get the feeling with him, Pac in general? Do you get the feeling that he is a bit of a bastard? Like, all kidding aside, that he might be kind of like a surly motherfucker that doesn't want anything to do with people.
Yeah, I don't think he's an arrogant prick like Austin Aries is.
Yeah.
But I think he's a definite bastard. I think he's just not somebody you'd want to be around.
No, I'm with. Okay, I'm glad we're all on the same page with that.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good list. Do we want to? Is there anything else we want to get to before we hop into doing a little prediction time for NXT Takeover in your house?
No, I think that hit it for me on everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to for me.
Nia Jax was the only thing I've got in my notes.
Oh yeah, that's a great one, dude. So the buckle bomb being banned now, and I don't know, so you look at the replay what happened recently, and like, I mean, I think you guys have seen like the image like on the top of it, the scar, like, and everything that's happened.
The fucking laceration up there.
Yeah, the laceration. It does look like she tripped over herself a little bit running, but it also looks like Nia also fucking threw her fucking horribly. You know, when I look back at it, so it's like,
well, poor Kairi
everyone
Sane,
could say it was her, and that's what a lot of people do say. You look back at it, who knows? Like, maybe she did stumble and hit it a little hard and try and whatever. But regardless, Nia Jax is a fucking unsafe wrestler, and it's been proven time and time again. And I don't think this even needed to happen for that to be proven. But the fact that there is now, and from that same, like, was it the same match with that buckle bomb where that kind of fucked her, like, where
with
it was
Kairi
botched a
Sane?
little bit?
So. Yeah,
I think it was, but like, with that happening too, then if you're gonna have a move like get the fuck off TV, go back to training if you're gonna try and get back up to TV.
Yep.
Like, you know, like, you need to be safe with these other wrestlers. Like, Kairi Sane is a fucking great wrestler, and like, for her to be put in an unsafe position, if that was the case, like somebody who doesn't seem to wrestle safe and doesn't seem to care, then I don't know, it's disheartening, I think, for other wrestlers and people who've worked their fucking ass off to get to where they are. Even though like I said, I soured on Kairi Sane a little bit with the whole, and I said like Asuka had been kind of annoying me recently on the last podcast, but regardless, the fucking great wrestler.
Right.
That's just the gimmick that I'm talking about.
I don't know. It's really, I don't know, man. Like, Nia over and over again has hurt people. And fucking Hurricane Helms even retweeted. He goes, "I used to do the Vertebreaker, arguably the most dangerous move in pro wrestling, because it's kind of like an upside down backwards styles clash."
Yeah, that's a rough one for sure.
It's a definite rough one. So, and he never hurt anybody. So it's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the move, it's the performer.
It is probably the performer in this case. I 100% agree. Did you catch her little jab at Asuka in her promo too? Because this one's an interesting one. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up right now. It'll be pretty easy for me to find, but Nia Jax, as we know, one of the best promos, you know, on
oh man, she's like the fucking Rock on the mic.
Oh,
it's a true story. Like A-Rock on the mic.
Yeah, exactly. A-Rock.
So of course you also are very aware of June 1st, right? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Here we go. Found it. 1 second here. So she's coming out to talk about Asuka. I don't want to play too much of it for copyright reasons, obviously. So I'm gonna try and find exactly like this right spot here. But she comes out, and we're all familiar with Asuka and how she's been cutting these promos, which are half in Japanese and they're very eccentric. And then she says some words in English, some in Japanese. I happen to love it. I know, Matthew, you've expressed that you're not the biggest fan of the those Asuka promos, I want to say.
No, I don't care about the like speaking in Japanese and speaking in English, like that does it. It's just, I think she's like yelling like like, like,
there's a tone.
Like, I don't know. I mean, that doesn't annoy me. It annoyed me maybe the other day. I watched Parasite for the first time with my girlfriend who's Korean, and like that movie is in Korean, and then she started speaking to me halfway through the movie in Korean. I was like, I don't fucking understand. Oh shit, sorry. She's like, I don't need to read the subtitles.
That's awesome. So yeah, here's just a little bit. Tell me what you think of this is Nia on Raw last night.
They are the old besties and the bright colors and Japanese.
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Her impression of a Japanese woman. And yeah. Just gonna go and yep.
Japanese.
Listen right after that. Doesn't someone go, ah, really?
Yeah. Oh, really? I believe. And then it cuts right to Chelsea Green, who must have said it from behind the glass. And thank God someone did. So
Yeah.
there you go. I mean,
That's fucked up.
that's just throwing it out there while we're on. Oh, shit. I mean, it's a fucking crazy world.
Damn.
Again.
Well, before we get into NXT in your house, can I tie some things together, one thing together really quickly?
Yeah.
Bringing it back.
We talk. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back and bring it forward.
That's what you do, Matthew.
So we were talking about Hogan earlier. We were talking about moves being banned, and you just said Hurricane Helm, saying, "Oh, I used to do this all the time." You know, never an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something we're maybe going to see on Undertaker Last Ride on the 12th, I think it is, when this 4th chapter or episode or whatever comes out. But he is not a big fan of Hulk Hogan.
That's very true. Yep.
And apparently, and I read this article this week, he had won the belt from Hogan at a pay-per-view on a Sunday night, I believe, or sometime over a weekend at one point. I forget what pay-per-view it was. And he was like 24 or 25, Taker was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan was like the fucking golden goose to WWF at the time.
The gimmick was still pretty young.
Yeah. I mean, 24-year-old Taker, 25-year-old Taker.
Well, right. But I mean, I think it was only a year, maybe two into him being in the WWF at that time.
Fucking nuts when you think about it, that he was that young, really.
Yeah, and Hogan was dropping the title to him, and he did it, and he did the Tombstone Pile Driver, and then apparently he kept hearing that Hogan hurt his neck and was fucked up, and he's like, no, man, he's like, I had him in, I had him tight, I held him tight, like super, super tight, like and he was like the whole time backstage that day, he's like, Hogan came to me and said, like, I don't think I can do it, or something to that effect. Like, and he's like, no, man. He's like, I know. He's like, I'll hold you tight as long as I have you. Like,
if I can pick you up, which I can pick you up, I can do this kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to be fine. And so he said every time he saw him that day backstage, he was just like, remember my neck. Remember my neck. Hogan kept saying that to Taker or something like that. They go out, they do the spot. Hogan drops the belt. Taker gets the belt. And then he keeps hearing that Hogan's hurt and like all this stuff. And that like, he goes back to like, it's not Gorilla, but like Vince's office backstage or something like that. And like Hogan's like laid out on the floor or something. And then like Shane pulled him aside and they went behind a curtain. And he's like, there's no way you fucking hurt him. Like Shane told him or something.
Right.
Like telling Vince that he was hurt by him and such. And then apparently he had to wrestle him on like a Tuesday. And there was another like big event on this Tuesday or something like that. Yeah,
this Tuesday in Texas is what it was called.
Yeah, this Tuesday in Texas. And he thought he was holding the belt and he ended up like losing it again. And like everyone was saying was that Hogan was saying he hurt his neck and it was that Tombstone Pile Driver that Taker did to him. And I mean, I'm probably getting some of this wrong, but he was saying that was the issue. And all the other wrestlers were pulling Taker aside leading up to that going, no, man, like if you, and because they didn't have playback at the time, the way we do now, where you can like instant replay, but like they were like, no, if you watch it, like his head didn't come close. And then it turns out that
just
Hogan
like when the Taker, like if you've ever seen any Tombstone Pile Driver, he's perfected that. He knows how to feel the top of the head, like, and he knows where it needs to be in the inside of his thighs.
Right.
To be able to drop that safely, and never once has it even, I mean, he makes it look believable, some more than others, but never once has he ever scared me.
Dude, but the one that,
you know what
Hogan,
I mean? Like, I never ever thought that.
No, but the one that Hogan was claiming that he hurt his neck on.
Apparently Hogan said, well, you didn't drop me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Hogan said, well, you didn't drop me on your neck. You held me too tight with your thighs in the neck, and it fucked up my neck.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking Hogan.
Yeah. So he's just a bitch.
Yeah, he's just a bitch because he wants to. It's more the fact that, oh, my God, there's somebody else that's figured out how to be a more successful pro wrestler than me. Yep. Yeah, that's all it was, I'm sure.
That's all it ever is they're all just trying to protect their spot.
I'll say something while we're on the kind of the topic of like older guys and older things. Me and Duncan have been texting a little bit about how just Shawn Michaels looks atrocious with no hair.
Oh my God.
But Duncan, have you seen him in his latest little clips? Because he's really got the beard going good, and the bearded Shawn actually looks better than when he just cut the hair short and had no real, just the stubble. A bearded Shawn. He's got
Bearded Shawn looks like a youth minister, and it fucks me up. I don't like it.
Yeah, but I kind of like that it's not like spick and span anymore, like Mr. Clean.
You
like
can't say that.
I think what? Oh wait, I
You
see.
can't.
Is that a racist term? I didn't mean it to be.
Part of it is.
I didn't mean it to be. It's all about intention, Duncan. If I didn't know, it's not racist.
No, it's man. I don't know about Shawn because he really looks like he works at a Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah, he does.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
he looks like a local.
Yeah, he's also trying to like show you like which reel you need to get for your fishing rod, but you don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
But he's like that one right over there, and he looks, and you can't tell which direction he's actually looking in.
Like this.
Yes.
Dude, I can't. Every time they show him in an interview, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
Shawn.
It does make me laugh though.
Again, or
like
dude.
God,
Damn it.
apparently Kane did that.
I know.
Apparently, that's what they say.
Yeah, sure did.
Matthew, you still there?
Yeah, sorry, I had a dog to let out.
Dog
real quick.
issue?
It was little Yokers was about to go in the house. Had to do a quick
Yeah.
run up the stairs.
Understandable.
Well, I think we're getting winding in on the end of the show, but before we do, we might as well predict these 5 matches that we've got, laid out for us for NXT Takeover in your house. Which, man, I'm kind of looking forward to it. There have been hints apparently from a couple different wrestlers that Tommaso Ciampa included that the set or some version of the Takeover set will be involved.
I hope it's the old in your house set. I hope it's the old house facade.
Because they have it somewhere.
In the warehouse where they have everything else.
Exactly. Like, just bring it down, set it up in the PC. And
Yeah,
call
that
it
was
a
like
day.
the what was it, that WWE 2K19 or 18, the commercials. They went into the warehouse. Do you
Yep.
remember that? And they had
Yep.
like all the memorabilia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've
Absolutely.
got that shit somewhere.
They do. And there's also one of the funnier things that Ciampa said in an interview is that he wants to see the set. He's hopeful because he's like someone told me, like, kind of gave me a wink, but he really wants to see Todd Pettingill somewhere.
Oh my God.
Involved with In Your House, because he was Mr. I mean, that's the era, right? That's the Pettingill era.
Pettingill and that mullet.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as yours.
Not
but
quite as yours, but
Yeah, that was pre when they shaved it completely close to the head.
you also still have like a pomp mullet?
Yeah, it's a pomp mullet. It's a pompola.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going
Yeah.
on.
a mullador.
It's a mullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, mullador is. I like that one too.
Yeah.
Should we get into this?
Lay it on me.
These
What do we got?
predictions. Let me grab a.
I think I only know 2 matches.
Oh, but they're all actually really good matches.
They're all it actually all
I'm sure.
The card's
I know,
really
I know
good.
they're all going to be bangers because it's
Yeah.
NXT.
We just don't watch it enough to really like appreciate it at times. So okay. OD.
Well, I mean, ever since they moved it to USA and not to the network, like
Sure. Well, that doesn't help you because you don't have cable.
I don't have it the cable.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to figure out which.
There he is.
Trying to figure out which match.
he wanted to get up.
go
He was about to start
first.
barking.
Oh no, he just wants to tell us his predictions too.
Champion.
I think they open the show with the Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano match for the NXT North American Championship. Of course, Keith Lee being the champion.
think Keith Lee retains.
Yeah, I happen to agree with you, Matthew.
Yep.
All
Yeah, I
across
think
the
so.
board. Yeah. KL, KL, KL. All right.
I mean, I think, yeah, that's
There's a high chance of fuckery with if Candice gets involved, distracts Keith Lee.
You know what? I'm actually changing mine, and I think Johnny Gargano is going to take it because I think they bring up Keith Lee to the main roster soon.
Really?
Yep. I'm going to go Johnny Gargano on that one. I'm changing it now that I thought about it a little harder. Yep. Anyone?
Keith Lee. I'm going Keith Lee.
Sticking with
Dream
Lee.
is going to get
All
another
right.
shot.
Duncan the same? Sticking
Yeah,
with
I'm
Lee?
gonna stay with Lee.
I think the next match, logically on the card, would probably be Finn Balor versus Damian Priest in just a regular singles match.
Balor.
I think they're pushing Priest really hard, though, right now, man.
I mean, maybe they are, but
Finn
Priest's-
Balor is bulletproof. So I'm going to go Damian Priest.
I don't know, man. Like, I used to like Priest a whole lot more when he was in Ring of Honor and he was Punishment Martinez. He was a lot more believable.
I'm not a huge fan of Damian Priest.
I'm not either. I think they're
It's
gonna see
okay.
if he can really fucking work with someone, and Finn Balor is that person to work with. I think Finn's gonna come out on top, and then they're gonna decide if he can actually take that next step or not. I think this is like
Yeah.
a true
That's
like
a trial
fucking,
match
like,
type thing.
show yourself. Like
Yeah.
grab that brass ring.
Which you're right.
Yeah.
Then if that's the case, then you're right to probably call Finn Balor, Matthew. I'm gonna stick with Priest. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm gonna go with Priest on this one just because I think Finn's had a lot of really strong showings in the last few, like his last few big matches he's won. It's not gonna hurt him if he loses one to try and set
Again-
up a newer.
Again, he's kind of bulletproof just in just his general. It's Finn Balor right here. He
Yeah.
still feels like a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
deal in NXT. You know, I feel like there's a bit of that. And Duncan, you could never not pick somebody with the initials DP.
Also true. DP
I got jokes.
equals happy.
Hey. Probably. All right. What do you think closes the night? Men's or women's?
I have a feeling
Uh,
they're gonna maybe go women's.
All right. No, it's probably going to be the
Men's.
men's because
'Cause
it's
Adam
Because
Cole?
it's cinematic.
because it's cinematic match. Yeah. So they're probably going to close with that. We won't get to that yet. So then you got the women's, and then before that we have Tommaso Ciampa versus Karrion Kross. I think you got to get. I think Kross has to win this, doesn't he?
Cross is gonna win that one. Yeah.
And it's good. I think it needs to be a hard hitting, like really.
I think it's definitely gonna be
It
that.
needs to be brutal. Like
It's gonna be
needs to a
fucking super
match.
brutal.
And Cross needs to go over.
Yeah. All right. So,
So I'm going Cross.
that one's a wash for all of us.
Yeah.
Then logically, okay, it's the the women's triple threat.
I think Charlotte retains.
So it's Charlotte, Bianca Belair,
No.
and
No, it's Charlotte, Ripley, and Io Shirai.
Rhea Ripley and Io.
Io
Io
Shirai.
Shirai.
Yeah. There's rumors about her, but I happen to think that realistically, they're gonna need the rubber match between Ripley and Flair. So then you would think Io Shirai. God, that is a tough.
I think you get Charlotte to win. She can talk
Yeah.
more shit and be how she beat two of them in a triple one, like 3-person match, right? Then you let Ripley win it after this to be able to like take her off the high horse / throne. I know you don't need to have that match again, but I think like there's no way that like Charlotte doesn't hold that belt for a little while longer. No way.
I have a feeling that Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair are going to be fighting for a long time. That Charlotte's almost scouted
Absolutely.
Rhea Ripley as being like, this is the one that I want to have that kind of long-term legacy-ish thing with. So somehow, I do think Charlotte Flair is probably going to retain the title, but it's triple threat. So
I just don't see her doing
Charlotte
it triple threat. I don't see her doing it unless it's one-on-one.
what are the rules
Yeah,
in
Charlotte-
WWE triple threat now? Like, it's no DQ, right?
First pinfall or submission.
But it's no DQ.
Also correct.
So
So
something
what's
weird's
happen?
gonna happen. Something weird's
No,
gonna
what
happen
I-
with this one.
I mean,
This
what
one's
I
a hard
There's
one to call.
fuckery afoot and no one wins. Well, if it's no DQ.
No, I think that what happens is that Charlotte retains because she'll tap EO, and then Ripley can say, "But you didn't beat me in that match."
Oh, and then Ripley can like jump in as the tap is happening and fucking like take her out and like hold her down and make her tap or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
but it doesn't
exactly.
matter. But it makes her look strong.
Exactly. So Charlotte retains.
So you're going Charlotte retains. Matthew,
Yeah.
you're the same, right?
Yep.
Against my better judgment, I'm honestly gonna risk it on this one, and
Go for it.
I think somehow EO does something to Charlotte and Rhea gets the pin and wins.
That's what I would prefer to happen,
Yeah.
but I don't think that will happen.
Yeah, you're probably right, but hey, man, a boy can dream.
Sure.
Last match of the night, again, it's pretty much widely reported it is a cinematic match for the NXT Championship. A last chance match for Velveteen Dream against Adam Cole, the champion. This one's tough, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Does everybody still want to see the Dream win? I think is the question.
Well,
Have they
also-
missed their window?
Also, is Cole's contract? It's coming up, right?
Yep.
Has he re-signed? Has he not? I don't know. I haven't heard any rumblings there. We talked about it last week about him just being at the after party with AEW, being in the background pictures, and then we let speculation run wild.
I'm torn on this
and
one.
because we aren't sure, even though Britt Baker had said he wasn't allowed, then they said, okay, well, he's not allowed at shows, but he can be at an event like an after party or something like that. So I think there's like, I don't know, and it's what's the stipulation is that Velveteen Dream can't challenge for the title as long as Cole has the title.
Yeah. So Cole would have to drop it to someone else for Velveteen Dream to be able to, yeah. It's his last chance.
I think,
against
you
Cole.
know what? I'm going to go fucking Dream. If they're doing a cinematic style match, they can really lean into the type of shit that Velveteen would do, which is much less of Adam Cole style. And because if you don't give it to him now, they're like, regardless if Cole drops it to somebody else and lets his contract run up, I don't think that there's a reason for him to get back in the picture right away. And again, with the cinematic style match, look at who Velveteen Dream is in regard to like the aura and the persona
The
that
match
he
is
carries
going to
and the
be a
type of
purple dream.
cinematic style and things like that. Like, you could do some, like, I don't know. Right now, I'm picturing him as Dave Chappelle, as Prince, and fucking winning blouses. That's how I'm picturing this fucking championship.
It's
match.
going to be Prince. It's going to be a purple dream, I think.
Yep.
Like, there's going to be all sorts of weird stuff
Some sort of
going on.
epic purple rainmaker.
100%.
blouses.
Dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going Velveteen, Matthew, Duncan.
Yeah, I got to. It's now or never for Dream.
It is now or never, and honestly, it gives you the chance to bring Cole up to the main roster, which might,
Which is maybe what he's doing without re-signing a NXT contract.
exactly. Like, there's all sorts of weird stuff with that, so I can see that happening.
I do think Cole goes to AEW though.
Right now, Duncan, I don't. I actually think that's all of it.
I think they're probably doing everything they can to keep him at
think they
if
are
he
as
does,
well.
that would be a great match, Cody and Adam Cole for the TNT Championship.
Yep. And the only reason I say that is because his fiance is there, all of his really good friends are there.
100%.
So,
No.
you know.
Yeah.
So
So
we'll see, but I do think Dream takes it. What do you think?
I'm going to Dream 2.
All right.
Because all three got to have VD. Don't use that as a catchphrase, Velveteen, please.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
definitely, it's not as bad as the Jackson Riker catchphrase.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough.
It's true. Woo. Yeah, okay, so we're there's only a couple little variations there, but there's enough to be able to, I think, crown a champion at the end of this, so that's good, you know? Like,
I'm looking at a picture of Ciampa and Cross next to each other, like the In Your House, like the verse.
yeah.
And dude, Karrion Cross looks exactly like Ciampa with a little more hair on his head and not a long beard. They have the exact same fucking nose and everything.
He's bigger than him, though, right? Karrion Cross is way taller than him, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, Karrion Cross is a big fucking boy.
he is.
Yeah.
His shoulders aren't as jacked.
Like,
And
Karrion
I was
Cross
just looking
is
at
a
their
big
faces.
boy.
Like, I was like, God damn, I was like, their noses and like head shape. Like,
Oh, facially, yeah, but
like a lot alike.
Yeah. I'll leave, I'll leave us with this, and I think this is a good place to, maybe wrap this up. Our last topic to wrap this up with. Got, of course, the Talking Shop going on right now, and of course they're teasing. Well, what is it? Is it July 8th?
July 18th.
July 18th is the big day, of course. It sounds like we're probably going to get more than one announcement with what's going on with the Good Brothers. And I have a feeling we're getting a, whatever they call it, version of Southpaw Regional Wrestling coming back. Because that's, I think, with one of the big things they're going to be doing with their YouTube channel is going to be this. And I, for one, couldn't be more excited.
I'm totally for it.
Sex
Gallows
Ferguson
is already
tattoo
living
bag.
Sex Ferguson on his fucking Instagram on a daily basis.
Oh yeah, he's doing it up just good. Like I've been listening a lot to that show. They've been stealing my pube gimmick though. They were talking a lot about pubes. That's an Ono radio show. That's a branded thing, sir.
Contact them.
Yeah, I would love to talk to the Good Brothers.
They're just gonna show up at his house and kick the door in drunk.
Yeah.
Nerd. Yeah.
And then Owens like, what am I gonna do?
What am I gonna do?
And then we'll get
Freddie
drunk.
Blassie
And then we'll
shows
get
up.
drunk together. Yeah, tries to take my eye.
This file down TV.
You get put in an arm bar for 4 hours in your own studio.
Yep, that's for the shitty interview we did with Greg Valentine.
Yeah. Hey, that's cool, bro.
I think that there will probably be something like that, but I definitely think that they're going to be. I just don't see how Anderson at least doesn't go back to New Japan because they fucking love him there.
Yeah.
And he is.
He goes, I'm gonna go compete in the G1. You know, good brother.
Yeah, they treat him really special. Like he was the first Gaijin to win the G1. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So.
Nah, that would be.
I don't know.
I think they're gonna. I think we talked about it the last time that we did a podcast. But my opinion on the Good Brothers is they're gonna bounce around a little bit, and then eventually, they're probably gonna settle down in AEW or have one of those kind of Pac-like contracts where they can work wherever they want to work.
Yeah.
And do it as long as they're meeting like their obligations with AEW. Good to go.
And there's been more talk I've seen in a few articles in the past like month or two about New Japan doing more stuff with AEW. And
Right.
so I could see them going to New Japan and then having a presence every now and then in AEW.
Well,
I think they see that it makes more sense to be a partner with AEW than to try and not be a partner with AEW because it just brings more eyes to the New Japan products in general.
Totally.
Oh, and what a perfect two companies to work together. And if Gallows and Anderson can kind of be a bit of that bridge.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
and
all
how
about
much
it.
and how many eyes were on New Japan before AEW? Like all of our eyes
Exactly.
were on New Japan
Yeah.
and subscriptions and things like that. You
Yep.
know,
Dude, you
and
bring-
I think they've seen a little bit of a hit. I would think from not Japanese, you know, but I would think from American buy-ins.
Well, I think one of the big things too is that there is still kind of that, like, you could do Okada Omega again if you wanted to, and you could do it now at a Madison Square Garden, and of course, like, when we're able to do that type of thing,
Right.
You know, I believe that one day we'll be doing that type of thing. I really like to think and hope so. But yeah, like, there's still, like, money for an American audience to be, you know, getting that. Like, I think that's kind of cool. And I mean, there's a million dream matches that you can line up within, you know, just all of the recent stuff that, like, a lot of the AEW guys. I mean, even Moxley right now that you could throw into this whole, like, mold and have, you know, have super matches. Do it.
Yeah,
Have some super
Jeff
matches.
Cobb been?
Especially when this whole thing opens up again, we better
Sorry,
get
just
some
keep
super
asking more
matches.
people then. Probably quarantine.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what Cobb's deal was. I'm like, I don't know if it was just like a one-time thing for AEW or what's happening with that. So, or if he's sticking with Ring of Honor.
Are you a
Or what?
Cobb man? Are you a Cobb man?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I'm a Cobb man.
Brown,
Bow,
brown.
bow. Thank you.
There it is. Drink your drink.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That being said, anything else that we want to just get off our chest before we get out of here? It's a long ass show, guys. Like, we, you know,
That will happen.
that will happen.
We've been doing long ones.
I know.
Yeah.
We have. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anything else before we need to get off the air?
I think
don't
we're
think
good.
so. I think we're good,
I
right?
think we covered it. I mean, we're
Good.
trying to do these every week now.
Jeez.
We've now successfully done it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that saves some stuff
Technically,
for
Fucking three-peat this shit.
that saves some stuff for you know, the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna three-peat. We're gonna be like the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, let's figure out offline what match we maybe want to all watch. Classic match.
100%.
Each.
Or let Facebook mention it in the group.
Yeah, we've already
Maybe
had.
Norm has something to say.
Yeah, Norm did actually chime in with saying that he's gonna look up some La Parka matches for us to
Okay.
watch, and I'm already like, you know what? I'm
The
you know,
chairman himself.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, input from other people.
I like that
Fucking
too.
Watch one classic match a fucking week. I love it.
still allow.
We all got time for that.
Yeah, and if Norm can, essentially, you know, come up with
Somebody
a good
tell me
one,
what to fucking watch, and I'll watch it.
I'll watch it too. As long as we can find it, hopefully, like, it's on a YouTube or something, you know, that's you know, something like that. But yeah, guys, it's been a fun evening. Enjoyed hanging out with you, talking some wrestling. Those of you out there that want to contribute to the program, you can also call and leave us voicemails over at 407-906-6466. And without a doubt, we'll get to them. We'll play them on the show. Hope you've enjoyed our parlay into getting into the Twitch, you know, world. And I guess we'll see you again next Tuesday. We all good next Tuesday?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, fuck it. Sounds like this is working out all right, and we, like, you know, we always do when we get out of here. What did we say, boys?